All the cars I've loved before, carslove.com. Welcome back. We are in season 2. Very special guest today. Our guests are always quite special, I'll have you know. This is your co-host, Christian, along with my more esteemed, skilled, but less handsome co-host, Doug. How are you doing, partner? How you doing today, buddy?
Well, I just got some Botox, so I'm feeling pretty good. Good to be back.
Looking handsome as ever. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. And hey, make sure you're checking us out, not only on your podcast streaming platform of choice. Make sure that you're following the show and downloading the episodes like good boys and girls, because that helps us make good decisions on how to get to our audiences. And as ever, please keep the feedback coming back. Christian at carslove.com, Doug at carslove.com. Let us know what you think. And I have Doug. I was going through the analytics, as they say.
Ooh.
And again, we got a ton of downloads, ton of likes. How are people listening to us? Apple Podcasts, 44%, which is pretty cool. But through the web browser, did you know that's surging in second place at 26%? So that, to my brilliantly keen, mathematical, beautiful mind, says that more and more people are hitting us up on the website, carsloved.com. Doug's been doing a lot of work on the website. Please do check it out, carsloved.com. In third place is Spotify, 13%. Let's see, what else do we have here? So devices, far and away, people are listening on an Apple iPhone, 71%, Windows computer, 16%, Apple computer, 9%, Android phone, 1%, and an unknown smart TV. We even got one download on that. What do you make of that? Like, are we on Netflix? Are we on Prime? What? So an unknown smart TV, a smart TV who shall remain nameless. I just thought that was very fascinating, but I don't know what to think about that.
I know.
Don't
forget the Chromecast. No, we got this unknown smart TV, and we'll keep running analytics till we figure out what it is.
Right, TV. I mean, I'm a pretty good-looking guy. I wouldn't really blame anyone if they wanted to check me out on television. I do some of my best work while I'm streaming, quite frankly.
Well,
but anyway,
keep in mind this is audio only, so nobody cares.
Oh,
sorry.
Well, should have told me that before I did my hair. Moving on to today's wonderful guest. Today is kind of a first time here. So we're well into season 2, as you know, thanks to everybody who's been following. But
thank you.
Guess what? Until now, neither Doug nor myself has interviewed anyone from our immediate family. That all changes now because we have my wonderful sister who's going to join us. Yeah, right. But she's really, I look up to her in so many ways, because I still live in the basement. And, one day I'm really going to get out. So I'm very, very proud to introduce my little sister. Her real name is Danielle, but she, to be very cool and hip like the children today, she calls herself D, as in the fourth letter of the alphabet. D. Danielle,
just the letter D.
Welcome to all the cars I've loved before. D-E-E. Welcome to the podcast. How are you this fine evening?
I am just absolutely fabulous. And thank you both so much for having me. And actually, the reason why...
That's all we have time for. Check us out. Please...
Shut up.
Sorry. Please continue.
Our parents never loved you. Okay. So actually, the reason why my name is D is because when we were little, people used to call my brother Mr. C or Little C or something like that.
That is true. That's actually a true story.
I wanted to be just like my big brother.
Is that really where it came from? That's family lore. I didn't know that.
I believe so, because our dad was CJ, and I think you were like Little C or something. And
Mr. C, I remember. I remember. Yeah.
Chicken of the sea is more like it.
That was funny. A joke at my expense. But for, hey, downloads and likes, I don't mind.
That's
Keep it
right.
coming.
And welcome to Life with Christian, where he never pays attention to anything that happens in our life and is continually surprised. And
Look, it's like I tell everyone, there are three things I'm not into: preparation, facts, or caring. And it's like what I lack in motivation, I make up for with incompetence. And that's really my life motto and the standard that I've set for myself. And what's really exciting is as family, and we kind of want to get into this more and more. As Doug and I were planning for the podcast, we always say, themes. We could have brother and sister on. We could have best friends on. We could have
parents,
siblings. Yeah. Because really, automobiles are a very shared experience. And it's just really exciting to have a member of the family on. So, hey, first off, thank you for doing this. So,
thank you guys for having me. I love the show. I listen to all the episodes, and I would
thank
like
you.
That I would, even if I weren't related to you. So, Doug, hats off to you for working with this guy.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
I'm starting to tear up. Lovely.
You're too kind. So yeah, there's a lot of intersection. You guys are somewhat close in age, I think, and so there's a lot of intersection with cars and your family, right?
Good point.
And that's what we're looking forward to hearing about. And there's probably a little bit of overlap. There's a story of your mom. I'm not going to give it away. In your current car, but we're going to get there.
That's wonderful tease, well described. And so, let's go in the way back time machine as to when we were younger and you weren't as wise, but I was always pretty much as wise as I am now. So let's go back. And what was your first automobile? May we ask where that automobile came from and your first thoughts around it?
Yes, you may ask. So, my first car was, I believe it was a 1989 white Chevrolet Celebrity, very boxy. And it was used. It was used when I got it. And one of the things that is really special about the car is that our mom bought it for me. So, just to understand a little bit about our family. Our mom was so loving, but a very tough cookie. And so she wanted you to be a tough. And so she didn't, our family wasn't like, hey, Merry Christmas, how about you a car? That's just like some families.
Not like the Lexus ad, right?
Ours does not, right? And so, she had picked me up at a sleepover, but like got lost or something. So she's very, very upset when she picked me up, and we rode home and so we drove up into the driveway, and I was like, Mom, whose car is that? And she said, well, it's yours. You learned to drive on a Chevrolet Celebrity because she had a Chevrolet Celebrity. And
same car, right? A few years earlier, I thought. It
was the same car. Hers might have been, a year or two older. I just can't remember. Hers was gray. Mine was white. And so that was just it was a really great moment. And, and it was a
nice surprise.
Yeah. And it was an investment in me. I mean, it was her saying, well, you are smart. You are independent. I trust you. You're not your brother. Thank goodness. And so very cool.
And did your mom have the Celebrity at the same time?
That I actually can't remember. Christian, do you remember?
Funny thing is, I remember having driving that gray Celebrity around. I don't know what exactly happened, but in my misspent youth, I would have a motorcycle, wreck a motorcycle, have a job, not have a job, need a car, not need a car. And so at some point I had that car. So that persisted even before I moved off to the big city to find fame and fortune, which I am shockingly low all these years later.
You're still looking, right?
And my only problem with the Chevy Celebrity, great car, but the only problem with the Chevy Celebrity is it's always being tailgated by a Chevrolet paparazzi. Other than that, it's really a fine automobile.
But sure as heck was when I was driving it around Baton Rouge, Louisiana in high school.
Indeed.
Well, actually, were you mentioned that she got it for you because she was trusting you. And where were you going with this car, right? It sounded like she really enabled you to do something that you cared about, that maybe, and as a parent of a 17-year-old that just got a car and her license, I'm happy to create the freedom and to enable them. But where were you going in the car?
Sure. So I got really involved in theater and I would say eighth grade. I was at a very snooty Catholic school, and for some reason I got cast as Madonna like early, like
Whoa.
will play, and so I got cast, and like I had beat out like the cheerleaders in order to land this role. And so that started and so that really sparked a love of theater. And so I was in play after play after play after play. And if I wasn't working backstage, I was on the stage. If I wasn't on stage, I was helping sell tickets or I was designing flyers or something. And this persisted all the way through college. But to answer your question quickly, Doug, like I had played some nights until like 9-10 o'clock at night. So I think that was one of the things too, is she needed to work late. She was an elementary school principal. I was in rehearsals really late, sort of building my resume. And so I think that probably had a lot to do with it too.
And she was cast as Madonna, and she sang Madonna's Material Girl in front. And I remember this now. Like it was my proudest moment as a brother was her singing in front of a Catholic. This place was so uber Catholic, and she sang a Madonna song, a Material Girl on top of that. And the parents were like, "Who is this child? What is this family? How do we excommunicate the whole lot of them?" And she was kicked out of this Catholic school for singing a Madonna song and B Material Girl at that. I was so proud. I couldn't be prouder. I'm just bowing with pride right now. Anyway, please go ahead.
Actually, the funny thing is, Christian had gotten kicked out of Catholic school for doing the same thing. So it was.
I know.
Yeah.
I could rock a red chiffon dress with long white sleeve gloves. Tell you that right now.
Like brother, like sister. So, if you will, you really kind of were a celebrity. I hate to over abuse that, but you were a celebrity.
That's a good observation.
You were in plays, right? Like
producer for a TV show, and on.
Yeah.
That's stuff. Yeah.
Theater major.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So the any redeeming qualities of the car? I mean, we know it's special to you because your mom bought it and was a surprise, and as you said, it is an investment in yourself.
That's right. Oh, is that no? I would say that car was definitely a means to an end. And then at one point, the air conditioner broke. And if you are an avid listener of the podcast, you know that we grew up in South Louisiana, like not even close to Arkansas, like well south.
Baton Rouge, right?
And so Baton Rouge. Okay. And so the air conditioner broke in the middle of the summer. And I think what happened is the air conditioner in my car broke at the same time that our home air conditioner broke. My mother chose to repair our home air conditioner, but not the one in my car. And so I was pretty happy to actually be rid of that. I was kind of happy to be rid of that car because I used it to trade in and get my next car. Which I was really proud of. It's I negotiated it all by myself.
I didn't know that. Really?
Yes, I did. I did. Well,
dang.
Mom was there with me, but at one point I was being so difficult about the trade-in price of the Chevy Celebrity. My mom was actually like, "That's a good deal. You really need to take it." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, there we go." And so and it was
Mom told you not to be difficult?
I know.
Holy
right?
crow. Yeah, first time. All right.
There's something. So I was so proud of myself. And I had
I'm proud of you.
I had a very fledgling knowledge of how to drive shift. I was by far by far proficient, but I fell in love with this car, and it was a stick shift. I was like, well, guess who's going to learn to drive a stick shift? So,
Nice.
so I was far from proficient, but I got in the car for the test drive. Mom was in the back seat. This really nice guy was in the passenger seat. He said, so you know how to drive a standard transmission, don't you? And I was like, we're about to find out. And he was like, I'm going to trust you. And I was like, okay, we're going to see what happens. And so then, of course, I pull out onto Florida Boulevard, which might be one of the busiest streets in the capital city. But obviously, I made it around the block.
It's like if blind people drove on the Autobahn, you would have something like Florida Boulevard.
You could have something like Florida Boulevard. So, but we made the block, and I was like, this is my car. And I got them down on the price, and I took amazing care of that car. I absolutely loved it. And then what I really loved about that car was my brother bought me a bumper sticker that said my other car is a Mach 5. And I'm pretty sure that bumper sticker was on until, I don't know, like the day.
Amen. So that one, what, 280,000 miles last?
No. Okay. So here's the very, very sad conclusion.
The demise.
1996 green Honda Civic.
Yeah. Two-door, right?
Say that again.
Was it
two-door?
A sporty two-door?
No, it was a four-door. Okay. It was a four-door hatchback, which was good because in college, you're moving in. Yeah. And actually, that was the car. I got married in 2004. And my husband and I moved to beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina. That car came up with me. So it was really good for like hauling props and, and all that type of great stuff. So here's the really sad thing about the Honda Civic. I made it to about 175,000 miles. And it developed this very strange problem. When I was in first gear and I was start easing the car in, I was a very, very good, gentle driver. It would jerk. And so, and so I took it to the mechanic and they said, okay, well, it's definitely the distributor, I think is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Not the clutch?
It was something like that, right? So they repaired it and the same problem. And it was like the problem never resolved. Like I called the car guys. I took it to the dealership. Like nobody could figure it out. And the guy, at that point, I think it was, at that point it was 2010 because I was like 8 months pregnant with my son.
Zoinks.
And I was like, okay, well, putting a newborn in a car that jerks a lot is probably frowned upon in some circles. So
uncomfortable at least. Baby might not sleep too well.
Yeah. So the guy at the dealership said, look, for as old as the car is,
to
try to throw money at repairing things without being
no.
We
just let it go.
Just let it go. So if you'd have told me that we'd have traded that car in before we traded in my husband's Ford F-150, which went and went and went and went, I would never have believed you. But we actually traded it in. We got a Hyundai Santa Fe, and my husband is driving it around to this day.
Nice. How many miles on that Santa Fe?
250,000 miles.
Golly, it still looks good, still drives good, man.
And we got a good deal
on
that one too. But I'm pretty sure,
I remember his story about it. Yeah.
Pretty sure though it was because I was 8 months pregnant and I looked like I was about to. It was August or it was like July or something, and you
were about to go Vesuvius up in there.
Into
dealer
labor.
had a sympathetic pregnancy, if you will.
There you go.
Yeah, so
very interesting. Yeah. That's good stuff, man. I'm learning all these years later, and we're still learning about each other.
That's what the podcast brings: family together, friends together, people.
Absolutely.
And actually,
it's really magical.
You want to know what my favorite memory of the little green Honda Civic?
What was that?
I just thought I thought about this earlier today in the shower. So we had so my college roommate Robert and I were
Yep.
invited to like his cousin's wedding. It was in the middle of nowhere, like East Feliciana Parish or some at a plantation or something like that. So he was dressed up, I was dressed up, and I was like, I'll drive. So we're driving along, flat tire.
Oh dear.
The tread just was like
Whoa.
right out there. So I pulled into this little tiny country. I mean, we're like in like the sticks, and this is pre-cell phone days, because I'm ancient. So I pulled over into this gas station, and I was like, okay, all right, well, we've got to change the tire. And Robert was like, I hope you know how to do that, because I sure don't. And I did, because my brother taught me how to change a tire in case that had ever happened.
Yeah.
So Robert says, well, good, I'm going to go have a smoke. So off he goes. And so I'm changing a tire in my dress, in my formal dress, and my heels.
Dang.
I'm changing my tire at this gas station. And here's the best part of the story. This guy in this beat up pickup truck drives up. He says, little lady, I can tell you know what you're doing there, so I'm not going to offer to help you. But I do have a nice chest full of cold beers. Would you like one? And I was like, yes, I would. Thank you very much.
You're making this up.
I ask Robert.
This sounds like a Dodge Ram commercial. This happened to you?
Yes. And I thought it was surprisingly progressive for this Louisiana gentleman in this beat up pickup truck to not mansplain.
And the best part of the story is the guy that pulled over and gave you the beer, you ended up marrying him, right?
That is not true.
Okay, well, this is certainly not a Dodge Ram commercial, but
true.
that was beautiful.
But change the tire. We made it to the wedding, and we had a good time. And
and you had a free beer.
So that's
it's funny you say that.
Story.
You bringing up the tire. So my dad would not let any of us, three children, one sister, older sister, wouldn't let any of us, my brother, my sister, or I, drive a car until we knew how to change the tire and knew how to change the oil. And so fast forward literally today, I'm talking to my daughter, just got her license, and I said, so what are you going to do if you get a flat tire, the car breaks down? She's like, I'm going to call you or mom. I'm like, kind of slap myself in the head, and I'm like, we'll talk about this later. But times have changed. Like, not call AAA, call mom or dad.
Wow.
Oh, she loves you and she trusts you. And she knows that you'll figure it out.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to help her when she's hundreds of miles away at college, but we'll see how it turns out. But
man, what a great story!
But
what a great
it's awesome that your brother, this wonderful guy, handsome,
I'd love to meet him,
young man. Yeah, he taught you to change a tire. Yeah. Do you remember that, Christian?
No, but you know what? Of all of my wonderful feats and great deeds that I've done over such a long lifetime, it quite frankly, it sounds like me. And maybe that's where this epilogue should end. And I would do anything for my little sister that she asked. So, hey, here for you. Great story. Love that. But we have to keep this show moving along. And so, and this is one thing that Danielle and I were talking about earlier today, or maybe we were texting, is the car she's driving now has a wonderful provenance to it. Yeah,
I can't wait to hear about it.
That's right. Yeah. So first, mom provided the first car. Mom provided the car that I'm currently driving. So I currently drive a 2006 red Honda Accord. And it just hit 175,000 miles. When she passed away in January of 2014. And so, and at the time, my brother, my sister, and I were, sort of talking about what to do sort of with all her stuff. And I said, okay, well, if you guys don't want or need her car, I would love it because it has our mom was a lifelong smoker. She loved to smoke her some cigarettes. And so to this day, it's got her like cigarette burns in the upholstery of the car. And so it's just one of those things that whenever I drive it around, I
Mhm.
don't know, I always kind of feel like she's still in the car.
That's nice. That's a good story.
Mm-hmm.
One of
Yeah,
my
yeah. I feel the same, man, and I feel like when I'm in there, it's kind of hard to describe, but or hard to put in words, but I think you described it well. It's there's a presence, and I cannot stand the smell of cigarette or cigarette smoke. I mean, I've never smoked before, but for some reason in that car, it borders on the comforting. For the reason that you said, the car from the outside and from the inside, it's still a good looking car. It drives like a champ. This thing.
Yeah.
It does. And my daughter, when she's in the back seat, she'll say, "Let me see the sky." And so I'll open the sunroof. And I think it was nice too, because I think that this was when our mom became a principal and started earning more money. I think that, that this was a nicer car than
Mhm.
she had probably ever driven. So like it has, a 5 CD disc changer, and I always try to keep one of her CDs in there just kind of for old
Nice.
time's sake. And and so yeah, it's really a cool. I don't know. It's just a wonderful car. It just really is a wonderful car. And I think I would love for my next car to be electric, but I would geez, it's going to be hard to consider something that's not a Honda Accord, which I guess it
There
is.
you go.
Yeah. Now I see from our earlier talk, and I want to make sure we get this in. Your favorite car. Now that's your favorite car right now, but your favorite car in the past was actually something that belonged to your brother.
Oh my gosh. So,
Please tell us the story.
okay, so we have heard legend of the brown Buick Skylark. We have heard my brother's visceral
A
dislike.
Skyhawk. I misspoke. It's actually a Skyhawk. It's a
Skyhawk.
Skyhawk.
Oh,
And it's
Yes. Cacaw.
of
Cacaw.
the fecal brown color, if I recall.
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Skyhawks are known to make the noise cacaw cacaw as they fly.
that's
Good.
right.
Right.
Yes, and it did definitely make some sounds. I don't think that those were safe, but so it's obvious. It's obvious that my brother has had some unresolved issues with this vehicle, and I think one of the things that I've learned listening to the podcast is that people feel closest to their cars when they're truly a reflection of like who they are. And so I think my brother discovered this very early because he tried like hell to make this car as cool as he could. So
Tell
he,
me.
yeah, okay, so I don't know if it was because the floorboards were really dirty or if we just had 17,000 Mardi Gras beads that we just didn't know what to do with, but he piled
I
Mardi
did.
Gras beads on the floorboards, which was it was very, very.
This car was so unattractive. This car looked like they put Tron in a garbage compactor. It was just bizarre angles and crumpled. And so, I threw Mardi Gras. I mean, it was basically this car was like an interior Mardi Gras parade.
It
I
real
don't know what to
okay. It,
say.
it was okay. So imagine, if you will, you are sitting in the doo-doo brown Buick Skyhawk, and you look up, and in the plastic rim that goes from the door jamb to the upholstery of the ceiling, there's like this plastic lip. He had taken playing cards one by one and shoved them in this plastic thing. So when you looked up, it was like, oh, it's just a poker.
A full house. It's
Oh,
a flush over the
how
driver.
cool is that? Okay, and if that wasn't special, then he had in the back of the car So in the back of the car, he had somehow ended up with a replica of a skull. And I mean, I hope it wasn't a real skull, even though
You never know.
you never know with him.
It
Anyway,
was from the other sister I didn't like.
so he so he had this replica of a skull, and he put it on the back.
I did.
On the back, so that if you were stopped behind the car, you would be faced with this skull in the back, and it was very realistic looking skull.
I've never seen that before. That is very creative.
Well,
Yeah.
but the pièce de résistance, which I will say, is that I don't know, maybe the skull was very threatening. We had an oversized plastic cigar, and he put it in the skull's mouth to sort of make
I did. I had forgotten all about this.
Yes. Oh my word.
You know, it seems so cool at the time, but you the way you describe it makes me sound like a real imbecile. And maybe that's kind of where I was. Or
well, and if you were trying to achieve a reflection of what you are and you're an idiot, then
I see. Yeah. Okay. I think
good job. You did it.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tire jack, I'm learning. That's brilliant. Thank you for sharing all of my faults. That's great.
I thought it was clever. I thought it was so you, and I thought it was just such an expression of how creative and zany and
thank you. I think,
and
he's turning red,
and I think I really
I'm
like
red with envy
because it made it it was better for my short legs. So really, it was a win-win for me.
Oh, I see.
That was small. So
hey, method to the madness. Method to the madness. Well, thank you for sharing how wonderful you are. And thank you for sharing what a dullard I've been my entire life. I can't wait to have you back on the show.
So freaking who?
Oh, gosh.
All
if
right.
These two didn't grow up in the same house, I don't know who did.
Do we have any more stories, Doug? Are you?
Well, I would like to, just thank Dee, but also ask if there's anything she's passionate about outside of cars that she'd like to share with our audience. And if you don't have anything, that's fine. We know you really like Buicks, but anything else?
No, I would say, so in addition to working full time and being a sort of PR and marketing professional, I am a wife and I'm a mom. I have 2 kids. I've referred to both of them. My son, Anthony, is 13. My daughter, Ruthie, named after our mother, which is either a really good idea or a really bad one, because she is
great idea.
I think it was a great idea. It really is.
I think it was a wonderful idea.
Yeah, she is 6. She's and they're both just amazing kids. And I know everybody says that about their children, but they really are. My son Anthony, who is 13, has special needs. He is nonverbal. He has autism and sensory processing disorder. And so I think something that I'm very passionate about is ensuring that all of our parents and caregivers of special needs people, adults, whoever, that they have the support that they need, and that they also have a place to, they have a place to really process and go when things are really tough, because I think that's hard. That's hard in our Instagram world, right? Everything has to look good. I've got this,
Well said.
Right. Yeah. And I think that, it's okay to not be okay. So, so I'm a big proponent of mental health and all that type of really good stuff. So I think those are the things that I'm probably most passionate about. In addition to being Christian's sister.
Well, we know you're.
Well, that's something that we don't want to know.
Brother.
We don't want to know things you'd be embarrassed about. But thank you for sharing that other beautiful stuff with us. That's fantastic.
Thank you, and the good advice to listeners and parents of children with, I'll say, neurodiverse issues.
Oh, Thank you very much for using the right.
That's what I like to use. Yep.
Very good. That's what all the planning and research will get you.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing that. That's good stuff.
Of course.
And thank you for being willing to be on the show. And it was great having you. You can come back anytime and insult me for half an hour. It's just really a great way for us to catch up.
Even if you didn't want me to come back and insult you for an hour, just drive to your house and do it.
Yeah, and we're hoping to have some more family shows, if you will, whether it's in the past we had Adam and Melissa. They're a couple, but we had them separate.
Yep.
We are talking to one of our guests, Jim, about having his wife on and share her experiences of how she was so supportive and pushed him to get his dream car. Yes. And so here we have, you're talking about your cars, but you fit your brother in at least into 2 stories at minimum.
What's so interesting is it's amazing how much family comes into this show, about relationships come into this show. It's really just as much about love and relationships, important people, and special events as it ever is about a hunk of metal. So,
it can bring us together. Just like, sorry, Dee, just like your daughter Ruthie is in your mom's car and wants to see the moon, see the sun, right? And so you take down the sunroof in your mom's car with
good connection.
A daughter named after her. It's just very touching.
Very, very full circle. And so, I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea, or perhaps both. But when you're talking about bonding, I think if we were to do a podcast with our dad, he would have so many things to say about all of the terrible things that we did in the car to try to frustrate him, which was bad because, driving from Baton Rouge to New Orleans, it's a bridge. It's a lot of water. We could have really distracted him and ended him in the bottom of the swamp. If we were to do a podcast with our dad, I don't know. You'd probably get
Oh my God.
I don't know.
We don't want to uncover too many bad memories. Yeah. He's a good old guy.
Oh no.
Well, lovely. Maybe
we'll share the format with him first. How about we run it by him first?
We'll see what he says. His cellular phone has a rotary dial. I don't know how that's possible, but he's kind of an analog
USB.
Dude. So am I. It's all right.
For sure.
It is all right.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me. This was wonderful.
It was wonderful. Trip down memory lane, brother and sister, mom, daughter, son, wonderful stories. And of course, I've been friends with your brother for 30 years. So
I think over 30 at this point. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. About 30.
Well, thank you to our co-host, our lovely, wonderful guest. Love you to death, Danielle. We'll see you soon. Thank you for being here. And to everyone else, you know what to do. CarsLove.com. To all the cars I've loved before, follow, subscribe, visit, email, like, follow, send us $20. Whatever is important to you to connect with us. Hey, let's get the party started. Let's get the conversation going. Anywhere around the world. Yeah. If you want to be interviewed, be on the show, hey, we are easy company, bud. I'm at Christian at carslove.com. He's at Doug at carslove.com. That's this week's episode. Have a great evening. Whatever you do, talk to us, follow, like. That's a wrap. See you soon. Take care. Goodbye, everybody.
Take care.